Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the last week, last line of the Valle box. This has been a quite fun one for me, but I'm really stoked to be wrapping it all up with this guy this month. I don't know if you saw my email, but I had all but given up on putting a white Valle in this box this month because all the wines that I've tasted, either they were like Chardonnay is what rules the game there. A lot of international varieties planted there. It's fine, perfectly well-made Chardonnay, but it was just kind of in the box, kind of boring, whatever, nothing to write home about. Or I've had some really bad, like a co-op cheap Valle, and I couldn't find anything of personality, of anything to really speak of that place. But just by, I mean, for those of you who were on the call last week, you heard from Christina, who was an importer for Barro, last three wines that we tasted. And she told me all the story about this wine. This was actually all reserved for a different somm in Baltimore. But then that somm ended up leaving that restaurant, so it kind of freed up. So I just snagged my portion off of that stash, and then I got to taste it, and I was like, "This is it. This is what I want." So yeah, this is the first white Valle that I have had. I've had a reds quite a few times, but I haven't had many whites from that region. And then there's the first white Valle that really spoke to me, that really resonated with me. So pretty excited to wrap it up with this. I'll talk more about this later, but this particular wine, so that somm that I was telling you about in Baltimore, she ended up moving on to a different restaurant, and then that restaurant is waiting to open, and she wants to bring this wine back on, so she wants the rest of what's left over. But Christina, being a good friend of mine as well, she said, if your wine club folks want this wine, I'll siphon off some and reserve it for us. So I don't want to wait till Case Club for this particular wine. I'll send that an email about it as well. If you taste this wine tonight and you like this wine and you think you would want a few bottles, let me know so I can at least reserve it with Christina so that we have enough stock. Because this is it. I mean, I think she got total of 10 cases. And that was it. That's all she could get from that. They make very little of this wine, and then they sold essentially 10 cases to Christina, and that was all she could get. So whatever is left over is all there is left in the entire United States. So if you want some, let me know, and then we'll go from there. Anyways, besides the wines, just a few announcements. I don't have a whole lot. So yeah, Case Club will go live next week. But just for this wine, if you want some, let me know. Box enrollment is all wrapped up, so you all should have gotten an invoice. A lot of you have already paid already. There are a few outstanding, so go ahead and take care of that invoice for me, if you will. But Box will start next Friday, so that's February 6th. The first recording of that box will go out on February 6th. So all the wines, for those of you who live outside of the US, have been shipped out last week. Some of got held up because of the weather. Fingers crossed that they didn't like basically freeze essentially, but it should be okay. But yeah, so all the wines are on their way if you haven't gotten them already. And all of you, your box will get distributed along with your monthly box next month. And if you didn't get monthly box, you will still get a call from the wine captain or get it delivered either way. But anyways, it's going out at the beginning of next month along with the regular monthly 6-Foot Wine Club. And then we'll get started with our first tasting on February 6th, recording on the February 6th. You all know the drill. You all have done box a few times by now. But this particular one is super, super exciting. There's some really, really cool ones here. So I'm pretty excited about it. I think that's all the announcements I have. Next month is all wrapped up. In case you haven't heard, it is Southern Chile is the the theme next month. But really, it's just featuring 3 wine producers that I visited. There's a 4th one that I did not get to visit, but the 3 of them I visited while I was in Chile. So it's just an excuse for me to give you all a photo slideshow that nobody asked for. So, get ready for my trip photo slideshow. All right. Any questions about any of that before we get into the wine of the night? Cool. All right. We are wrapping it all up with this guy. It's the only white in this month's box. 2024 Di Barro Valle Petit Arvine is what we're tasting today. All right. I mean, at this point, this is all just review. We've gone through this already, but let's kind of look at it one more time. All right, so here's a map of Italy, right? And all this month, we have been right up here, Valle. This little tiny little yellow sliver of landmass right around the town of Aosta is where we are. It's north of Piedmont. This orange part is Piedmont, right? So north of Turin, this is where Torino, this is where Christina and Marco, they're from, the importers that were on the call last week. But anyways, so this is where we are. Petit Rouge, Petit Arvine are the most well-known. Obviously, Nebbiolo is grown because the Piedmont is right there. But as you can see, we're in basically the Alps, the French Alps. So Switzerland just to the north, France to the left, right? And this is French is spoken here, Italian is spoken here. Both are official languages of this region. Is really there's a huge influence from Savoy. The nobility, the king of Savoy, ruled this region back in like the 15th century, 13th and 15th century. So that's why there you see a lot of French influence here. But as of right now, it has been in Italy's control for some time by now. But culturally speaking, it is very much of a both French and an Italian place. If you look a little further, little bit closer, this is what it looks like. So this is the town of Aosta. So you can see these are all mountains, and essentially there's a river that runs through here, through the valley, and this is where all the towns / all the vineyards are. Because otherwise, it's just too tall, too up in the mountains to really grow grapes. I mean, Mont Blanc is right here, Matterhorn is up here. So we're talking about very, very high elevation, very tall mountains in the back. So we're talking about high elevation, very marginal continental climate. It gets very, very cold here. Also, it gets quite warm in the summertime as well. It's around the valley. So when you're talking about mountain wine, high elevation wine, right? We're talking about slopes, ton of sunlight, right? All south facing slopes here. And if you remember Christina talking about it, I mean, this is the area where you start to see the climate change really take place. So traditionally, historically, all the vineyards that you see here have been planted south facing. But now people are starting to plant their vineyards north facing because the sun is getting way too hot, or it's just getting way too hot here during the summertime. So to limit some of the temperature and some of the UV rays, people are starting to plant on the north side, which is changing the kind of wine landscape in this region as well. If you look a little bit further down, so this is just a map with all the towns. Alta Valley, the High Valley, Middle Valley, Central Valley, and the Lower Valley, essentially what we have here. And then this is the kind of the DOC, the appellation level of Italy broken down in this region. So this is probably the most well-known, most amount of wine is made here, which is Tourette, right here. And where we are is St. Pierre, where Di Barro is just to the left of this town called Aimaville. I'm sure I'm butchering the pronunciation, but it's just to the left of here. So we're pretty much in Tourette, and all the fruit for this comes from Tourette as well. All the fruit is a estate fruit. None of it is a purchase. They grow their own grapes. As Christian talked about, those are the only producers or vineyards that she works with, people who actually farm their own land. Yeah, so this is kind of where we are. This is where we've been all week. It is the least populous as well as least smallest wine producing region of all of Italy. So we're talking about a very, very small place. There are a bunch of different growers here who make wine mostly for their own consumption as well as local consumption. A lot of them are also just kind of a co-op because the average size of vineyard here is like less than half a hectare per grower. So very, very small. It's really not big enough for people to really make a living on it. So either they grow and they sell it to a co-op, or if they do make wines themselves, it's usually for own consumption. It's not really for commercial use. There are only really 3 or 4 commercial wineries here that are really that are exporting enough to really be significant. And Di Barro is one of them, and then it's the smallest out of the kind of those major 4, and that's why Christina picked him up, and then that's why I'm glad that she's able to do the work that she does here in this region to keep the wine scene very dynamic and fun. But yeah, this is where we are. Let's talk about who makes this wine. By the way, this is Di Barro, as you can see. There's a sign. So this is their house/winery. So I mean, yeah, mountains everywhere. This is a very, very mountainous region. Beautiful, gorgeous ski region. This is also their vineyard. This is not Petit Arvine, but this is actually Valle vineyard. So this is actually what we tasted last week. And this is where the vineyard comes from. All right, we talked about this. This is Matteo's dad and mom who started the Di Barro family. So it's only a second generation, so pretty young winemakers. And then this is the sister. Oh, by the way, sorry. This is Elvira and Andrea. Andrea is the dad. Elvira is the mom. This is Francesca and Matteo. So Matteo is the winemaker. He's the one who makes all the wines that we tasted. And then Francesca and Elvira, the mom, they run the kind of the administrative side, business side of the family business. And then the dad, in case you're wondering, I talked about it, but he's actually the mayor of Saint Pierre, the town that this winery is in. So he's busy mayoring, doing his mayor thing. So he's not really involved much in the winery business, but really it's the mom, daughter, and the son who are running it, with the son being the winemaker. This is a Singaporean artist who won that label design, that Xia Hongzhu, the Chinese label, the Valle d'Aosta bottle with the Chinese label from this month. She's the one who designed the label. Right. One of the things that I also mentioned, in case you have forgotten or you haven't joined in the last couple of weeks. So all Di Barro, the reason why it was super fun, and I intentionally put it this way, I usually don't like to put one producer for 3 wines, but particularly for regions like Valle d'Aosta, where it kind of flies under everybody's radar. There's a lot of kind of indigenous varieties here that are not grown anywhere else. It's pretty much you can only find it here. I think it's really important, and I think it's also really fun to kind of really taste just the varieties themselves, try to understand the varieties before you kind of get into the winemaking and how that affects it, to really try to get to the pure expression of the grapes themselves. So that's exactly what Matteo decided to do. So when they first started, they used to use barrels. Barrel use here, particularly neutral barrel use, is pretty widespread in this region. But he decided to go completely exclusively stainless steel. So all 3 wines from Di Barro that you tasted this month is all stainless steel. They're essentially made exact the same way, except just they're different grape varieties. So it's all about purity. It's all about that kind of varietal expression. So that way you can really taste Tourette, Mayolet, and Petit Arvine on its kind of own. So you kind of get an understanding of what the grapes taste like. And then in the future, if you ever come across a different producer from Valle, and let's say if you get another bottle of Petit Arvine in a restaurant or a bottle shop in the future, you can kind of see what happens if you make it in a neutral barrel versus stainless steel. Just kind of get an idea of how the grapes play around. So essentially, that's what it does. It is you rarely see that happen where the producer makes all the wines exactly the same. In this case, Matteo does make everything exactly the same in stainless steel. So that's why it's been fun. Anyways, so this is Petit Arvine. So that's what we're tasting today. So this is 100% Petit Arvine grown on granitic sand / clay. So all that mountain over there is basically all granitic mountains. So a lot of granite influence here. Grown on 2,297 feet of elevation. So again, high elevation mountain wines. Let's talk about Petit Arvine for a second. So large majority of Petit Arvine is actually planted in the Valle region of Switzerland. So a lot of people do think that Petit Arvine have actually originated from Switzerland and then made with Italy, but and it's been cultivated for at least there's records of Petit Arvine being cultivated in the Valle region of Switzerland for 500 years. But the origin of the grape is kind of disputed. There's some people, some researchers that argue that they haven't brought there actually through Italy or possibly through Savoie in France. And we talked about that Savoie influence there, right? The name, the Petit Arvine, so there's an Arvine variety. There's different mutations of Arvine variety that exist, but this particular one has a much smaller grains and smaller bunches and berries. So that's called a Petit Arvine, but it's named after the Latin name for this is for the region that exists right around in this area, and then the Valle area. So people think that it was the Romans that brought it all through here, but nobody's sure exactly. And they've also run the DNA testing and analysis on Petit Arvine, but no, they have not been able to find any linkage to any other variety that we know of right now. They can't figure out what the parent varieties. So these are what we call orphan varieties, where you don't know what the parent variety is. So we're talking about a very kind of unique, rare kind of a thing that basically grows in this region, in this part of the world, mostly in this part of the world. So Switzerland is the biggest planting of Petit Arvine in the world, and the second biggest is right here in Valle. You do see some smattering of Petit Arvine. I've seen it actually from California, particularly in the Humboldt, a much more colder northern part of California, which makes sense. And then I've never seen it personally. I've never seen much wines from here. I don't have much experience with much wines from this region anyway. But Okanagan Valley, British Columbia, there's a bit of a Petit Arvine being grown there as well. But yeah, I'm very curious to taste that if I get a chance. Looking at you, David Talbot.
I'll bring you some back next time I'm out there in April.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, so some in British Columbia, Okanagan, some in Northern California, but those are all small kind of a small amount that's been grown there. Mostly we're talking about whenever you come across Petit Arvine, most likely it's going to be from either Switzerland or Valle. It's nicknamed a glacier vine because it just has an amazing ability to acclimatize to the really coldest and the most inhospitable climates. It is a pretty thick-skinned grape varieties, which makes sense, which would do well in a cold climate. But you usually find them, particularly in Switzerland, you find them in these kind of three styles. The one is kind of what we're having today, which is just kind of dry, racy, fresh, citrusy, kind of a made in stainless steel, really clean and straightforward. A very austere kind of a version of it. The other one is aged in a neutral barrel, so rich, smooth, kind of like from what I've found on the internet. Apparently, the little bit of aging with Petit Arvine gives a little bit of the rhubarb kind of aromas. I've never had aged Petit Arvine, so I couldn't tell you. And then finally, they also do make dessert wine with it. So late harvest dessert wines, beautiful stone fruits. And one of the things that Petit Arvine is great for is that even through all that long growing cycle, very cold climate, it produces, even though it has high enough acid to make, enough sugar to make late harvest dessert wine, it maintains all that acid. So there's a searing acidity in Petit Arvine, and part of the reason why it is a prized grape variety in Switzerland and Valle is because of that ability to maintain acid despite its high sugar content. Like I mentioned, it's a thick-skinned grape variety, early budding, late ripening, known to maintaining searing acidity during growth cycle, high level of phenolics from the thick skins. So also pretty easy to get very ageable, kind of a very textural. Whenever you get wines that have a high in phenolics in the skins, especially in the white wines, those tend to give a lot more textural kind of a wine. So a lot more like a viscosity to the wine and things like that, and body. Anyways, so this particular one is vine age 8 years, so not super old, but not super young either. Only 1,700 bottles were made, 141 cases. Out of that 141, only 10 cases made it into US, into this region. So we're talking about a very, very small amount of wine that exists in the world, and we get to taste it tonight, which is awesome. Everything else is the same as all the other ones. Native yeast, stainless steel, touch of sulfites at the end, unfined, unfiltered. All the things that we've been talking about all month is the same thing here, all the same one. All right. Any questions about any of that before we get into the wine? Before we taste it? Excellent. Let's taste the wine. Who wants to take the appearance?
I will,
Oh, hello, Allison.
Hello, although I'm not actually sure about this one because mine has such an interesting color.
Oh, yeah?
Usually I do the appearance because it's the easiest one. I can
Uh-huh.
say that it is clear.
Uh-huh. Wine is clear.
Uh, I think I might call it medium for a white wine.
Yeah.
Uh, Definitely not deep. But where I'm kind of getting thrown is that mine came out like a little bit golden, but it almost seemed to have like almost like a pinky tinge to it.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of see in the picture that I showed you earlier. It does pick up. It's kind of like from, I don't know this fact, but looking at that picture, that's what it reminded me. So grape varieties like Pinot Gris, when they ripen for a long time, it does pick up a little bit of color. It does get a little bit of pinkish hue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I wouldn't. Mine doesn't look pink to me. But it does have quite a bit of a gold fleck on mine. I get a lot of like gold, maybe like tinge of like copper, like a coppery kind of
Yeah,
look
maybe
color
that's
to
it.
it.
Yeah, I mean, I
Uh,
wouldn't ever look at this and be like, oh, it's a rosé. But
yeah,
something about it that looks different. Like when I
yeah,
poured it, I thought, is this got some like almost like an orange wine? Is it almost like skin to contact or something? Because it
yeah.
no, it just looked so different than what I was expecting
Yeah.
to
And then,
look.
like I mentioned, this grape variety also just has very high phenolics on the skin, so it could
Hmm.
bleach out some of that skin
Hmm.
color. It's just kind of orange wine, essentially. Even if I'm sure this is direct press, as when it came in, it just pressed off
Hmm.
the skins. But even during that process, it might have extracted some phenolics just because it's so high in phenolics. So
Yeah,
maybe it is touch orange without actually being orange, if that makes sense.
there you go. And there
Uh,
are no other observations.
Yeah, no sediments, no bubbles. Yeah, nothing that I have said. Cool. You get to pick the next person for the notes.
All right. I'm picking Christopher because I feel like it's too easy to pick Dave. I feel like I always pick Dave.
I knew that was coming. It's been a while, so we
And
are,
also, welcome back. You gotta jump back in.
yeah. Yeah, breaking in the newest baby, early to wine clubs.
Good.
Yeah. All right.
Save you
So,
some money later, Christopher.
yeah. Um, I would say this Wine is clean.
It's clean. It's what it sounds. Yeah.
Yeah, not a, there was, I don't know if it was the first, I think it was the first one we did, the one that wasn't from DeBarro that was like a little, like not entirely squeaky clean. But
Uh-huh.
this one feels more clean.
I will say though, of the DeBarro though, this
Yeah,
one is the least squeaky clean. Like there's tinge of like yeah, out of the three, I will say.
yeah,
But yeah, I agree. The Grujon was the very first bottle, was the most. I mean, it was still clean, but it's
yeah,
the least clean out of all, for
yeah.
sure.
And as you noted in that recording, it blew off really quick. But like when I first opened it, I was like, whoa. Anyway, so back to this wine.
Yeah,
This is clean. I would say, and we all have a little bit of a cold, so I might be off, but I feel like I get it like about an inch off the glass. So I'd say
yeah,
medium. I could be
yeah,
convinced medium plus if my smelling or my sense of smell was better.
yeah.
Uh,
Mine is like here, so it's like I don't know, a couple inches. So yeah, it's like right on that border of medium plus medium. My wine is a bit warmer. I also didn't decant mine. Probably will go towards the medium plus, but right now my wine is like right in the medium to medium plus. So
yeah.
I could wait. All right. Would you
Aromas
get another
of
one?
Yeah, I'm definitely getting a lot of floral notes from this one. I get some like honeysuckle, some
Really pretty.
yeah,
Not like over the top, but
no,
there's definitely like layers of that really pretty flower here.
yeah. Um, and then yeah, like I think more crisp green fruit. I don't really get much citrus or stone. I'm definitely more in the like apple. Or I mean, citrus, I mean, some lemon, uh,
Yeah.
but I think more in the green fruit.
Yeah, I definitely get some green fruit here. Name some green fruit. What do you get here?
I could be convinced of like a green pear or I don't know, trying to think of like alpine fruit, but that might just be adjacency
Yeah.
bias. But yeah, I mean,
I know nobody, we've talked about this in Wine Club many times, so nobody knows what the fuck quince is, but to
mhm.
me, there's quite a bit of quince in this
Hmm.
Yeah, I've only ever had quince in a like baked in a dessert like as a dessert. So I feel like
one.
stewed or baked quince is something I could maybe, but like a fresh. This feels more like what what I would imagine a fresh quince like after you like
Yeah,
crack it
exactly.
and like open it and sniff it,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like a green
beautiful.
yeah like a green apple that you would not want to necessarily eat, but after you've cut it or broken it
Yeah,
and like smell it and it's yeah.
yeah, I agree with that kind of like green pear quince, that kind of
Mhm.
vibe. Yeah, totally.
And I
Some
was like you
citrus.
said the other day, like or I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was the first Petit Rouge or the one you were like it's red fruit, but like the vegetal, like the green part.
Mhm.
And I can kind of get that, and like I don't know if it maybe like the stems of a flower or like
Mm,
something, some sort of like vegetal, but still like fruity or floral,
yeah.
like underripe, not quite ready part of a fruit. But yeah. Um, Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
Where
no,
were we?
I don't,
Do you
yeah,
get
no
citrus?
red, no black. Oh, yeah, I mean, citrus,
Yeah.
lemon
Yeah, yeah.
is
I definitely get
all
some.
lemon on a white wine, but um,
No stone, no tropical, no red and
yeah,
black.
I feel like I typically look for stone in a crisper white wine, but I'm really not getting much, especially given the, mountain and did you call out or specify because I know a lot of the DeBarros were like granite like
Yeah,
soil.
it's all granite.
All
Yeah, pretty
granite.
much all grown granite. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I feel like I get a little more stone on the palate than on the nose, but
Yeah.
I'm not really picking up much stone on the nose.
Yeah. So you talked about the character of the fruit being kind of fresh, but you also get a little bit of that kind of like the unripe part of the fruit. Um, do you get any like herbaceous and herbal or yeah, do you get any herbaceous herbal non-fruit flower things?
Not really.
Me neither.
Yeah.
There's some like a chamomile, a fresh chamomile,
Yeah.
not like a dry tea chamomile. There's really like pretty kind of flowery, like the honeysuckle blossom chamomile kind of thing going on here.
Hmm.
Quince, yeah, some definitely some like a lemon, even maybe grapefruit, but like a really lemony kind of citrus here. Yeah, I'm totally with you. Not much stone, no tropical red black. Um, there seems to be something savory here. Maybe yeah, like that unripe part of the fruit or something here. It's not just a fruit, but like the fruit character is just so beautifully ripe and fresh, and like nothing is overcooked, jammy or anything like that. And yeah, no herbal, no herbaceous, no spice. It's
Yeah.
just kind of, I mean, it's all stainless steel, right? Like
You said that the family who started the Barro had initially been mostly like fruit orchards and then ended up ripping out those orchards and planting vines when the dad won some wine competition back in the day. Do you know what types of fruit trees they were
no,
growing before they switched to wine or
no
grapes?
idea.
Yeah.
No idea. That I do not know. Yeah, I mean, looking at here, I do think there. Yeah, actually, I don't know. I feel like I've seen some apples and like ciders from Valle also before. I mean, which would make sense because the Valais region of Switzerland also makes a lot of cider or cidre.
Mhm.
So I would think that it kind of carries down into this region if I were to guess. So I would guess it was probably like apple and pear, that kind of orchard. But
That
I don't
and
know.
yeah, pear definitely in quince, and I'm extrapolating from other alpine regions, but the like given that this is a ski town, like tourist ski area, the like chalets and making fruit brandies or schnapps depending on where you are is like a thing.
Yeah,
Everybody, all the people who have tiny wine plots, anybody who has a tiny orchard plot probably has a still in their basement and is making some sort of fruit
yeah,
brand.
probably.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, it's also a very talented thing to do. Just like I feel like every winemaker in Italy has some sort of still in their basement. Like even if they don't sell it, like just make it. They just make it crop up left and right. And
Let all that good pumice go to waste.
yeah, exactly. Um, I do get a little bit like a wet stone, some stony here on the nose. But yeah, still mostly really just beautiful flower, fruit,
I
really.
feel like I'm starting to get a little more stone as
Yeah,
I was putting Glen down, so I grabbed our bottle like right from the fridge, and as it's warming up a little bit in my glass, I'm starting to
yeah.
smell a little more of that. But I did
Cool,
not
cool.
know when it was like right out of the fridge.
Yeah, makes sense. Any secondary, tertiary?
No, this is all really, really bright, bright
Yep,
primary.
yep, exactly. All young. It's very much primary driven. Stainless steel. Cool. You get to pick the next person for the palette.
Um, I will go Catherine Gaines.
Hello.
Of course, because we're only half paying attention.
Yes, we literally just said, please don't call on us. We're not paying attention. Sorry.
We haven't seen each other in a while.
And it's Kristen who's in this month.
right.
I'm
She's
a
tagging
glommer on to this bottle. What are we
Well,
on?
we are on the palette.
Wonderful.
I can't read that. Can you read that?
There's some sort of like a.
I don't have my glasses on.
It's
What's the first thing?
dry,
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is bone dry. Yep.
bone dry.
A lot of fruit here. A lot of people may think, oh, this one is sweet because a lot of fruit and like, it's really pretty and there's some flour running through here. But to me, this is bone dry. There's no sugar whatsoever.
The acidity is
Medium plus.
medium plus at least.
It's very, yeah. And it sticks
Mm.
around for a while.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about Petit Arvine, that acid. It just has that searing acidity that carries it all the way through. Even with the dessert wine, when it's made into dessert wine, it has that acid to balance out that sugar. Yeah, super, super cool quick.
Tannin and
Neither one of us have our glasses on, so we can't really see.
There we go.
Oh, that's helpful. Okay, thank you. I did. Tannin. Oh, alcohol. I'm terrible with the alcohol.
I'm gonna say this is probably, I'm gonna say 13 and a half. It feels high.
I was gonna say
Does seem
12 and a half.
touched warm, not that
We
high.
don't even have the bottle in front of us here.
Oh, you're right on. 13.5. Look at you.
Hey,
Love it.
well done.
Look at you. All right, so 13.5, high end of medium, low end of medium, medium plus, but somewhere around there. Body.
Need a refill.
2%.
2%.
Yeah, I'm gonna say between medium and medium plus.
It's got some weight, right? It's not
Yeah.
just like a thin thing. And this is what I mean by textural wine. With the Petit Arvine, because it's so high in phenolics in the skins, even when it's direct press, it's not sitting on the skins. It does leach out a little bit. And actually, I want to actually get back to the tannin part real bit. I do feel like, again, like, this all ties back into kind of what Allison was talking about. And then when she was like, I do think there's a touch of a color here, maybe like something coppery, some touch of like a orangey kind of a color. And, I said, maybe it's an orange wine without being orange because it didn't actually sit on the skin, but maybe it extracted some of that phenolics from the skin. There's a little bit of grip. Like, I won't go as far as calling this even like registering on a like low, medium, minus or anything like that. But like, I just want you to notice like there's textural component to this wine that is both like the body, the fullness, the richness, the viscosity of the wine, but also there's a little bit of a grip. There's tiny little grip on the wine.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to note that. So yeah, I'll definitely call this like medium plus on the fuller side wine. And this is what's beautiful about like these kind of mountain wines, right? Like these are the kind of stuff that I love drinking at in the wintertime. It's got like the full, voluptuous, but high acid, mineral driven. This kind of wine is exactly the kind of wines I like to drink in the wintertime. White wines I like to drink in the wintertime. In general, but particularly in the wintertime. Moose, we don't have to talk about flavor intensity.
I think medium plus.
Agreed. I mean, this is not a shot.
Yeah.
Everything's in there. Medium plus intense flavors of. Do you agree? I know you were not paying attention, so maybe you have to call out.
We heard nothing.
This is where we kind of screwed ourselves.
Yeah. We heard nothing. I'm
So
sure we
not-
agree.
Sure,
though.
but
We totally
Christopher
agree.
is genius, so yes, we agree.
But yeah, I mean, so Chris pulled out some floral kind of a thing, like honeysuckle. I get a little bit like a blossomy, like orange blossom. There's some sort of like tangerine, orangey kind of a thing going on here that I get a little bit. Again, maybe it goes back to that like orange without being orange kind of a thing, which is super cool. Green fruit, we talked about quince and pear.
Yes, I heard the quince. I agree on the quince.
Very kind of that like quince is like a fabulous fucking pear, if you ask me. It's just like so aromatic and just in your face kind of a pear. So quince, lemon, citrus, no stone fruit, no tropical fruit, red, black, no black, no red. The quality of the fruit here, I mean, it's everything we call it. It's like it's super fresh, super ripe, nothing overripe. Nothing underripe. It's just like perfectly fresh and really gorgeously, right? Herbaceous and herbal. Chris pulled out some the unripe part of the fruit, like so, like if you're eating strawberries, like the top red parts would be perfectly ripe, but the green white part of the strawberry, or like if you eat watermelon, the white rind part, like that kind of part of he was noting some of that. I don't get much of that personally, but there is something like savory here, but to me that comes more in like a, I don't know, some sort of like a tea chamomile. I guess that's floral, not necessarily savory, but yeah. I also get some like a fresh chamomile here. No spice, and then the minerality here. This is what I actually love, which is there's some salinity here.
I was gonna say it's a little salty.
It is
That's
salty.
what I like about it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
got
tend
all
to lean towards the saltier white one.
me too.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, salty white wine is where's that? But yeah, it's got all this gorgeous fruit, perfectly ripe, fresh, but then it's got this like salinity and the minerality.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. Any secondary, any tertiary?
Well, wait, but it smells like it's gonna be flinty but it doesn't taste.
Yeah, I got some like wet stone on the nose, but to me
Yeah.
on the palate, it's more
Nothing.
Of that.
Just-
I get
yeah.
more as like a salinity.
Salinity, yeah.
Salt,
Yeah. Secondary,
not necessarily crushed rock or anything.
right?
Any
No.
secondary, tertiary?
No, it's all very
Nope.
fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very fresh, very youthful,
fresh.
all stainless steel. Yeah, this is very much primary fruit driven wine. All right, how long is the finish? The length?
Oh,
I think medium plus.
yeah, I agree. Medium plus. It hangs in there.
Yeah,
Especially that acid.
Yeah.
Acid and the salinity
Mm-hmm.
hangs
yeah,
on.
the salty, exactly. It
Yeah.
hits me with this beautiful fruit and flower at first, and then it just finished off so like savory, so like salty, so briny, acid lingers. Yeah, I'm gonna call this a medium plus myself. Conclusion. How good is this wine? Just 5. And we've aged it.
I'm gonna say I think it's between good and very good. It's balanced. It's complex.
What would you call the complexity?
Well, you've got some floral fruit, the salinity.
Yeah, bunch of things in the primary, no secondary, tertiary, but bunch of things in
Right.
the primary. Call that like what?
What am I missing? Intensity. Did we talk
Intensity.
about
Intensity.
And we put that at like medium plus.
Yeah.
Well, then medium plus, and then length.
I think it's
Right.
very good.
I
Yeah.
mean, what I'm missing?
Agreed. So-
Balance, intensity. What I miss?
No, you got it. Balanced. You call it medium plus intensity, right? On the nose and the palate. Medium complexity, and then medium plus length. So we got 2 medium pluses and 1 medium. So that puts us in between good and very good, but closer to very good. So we're gonna call this very good.
Yeah,
Would you age
it's
this?
very good.
It is very good. It's a delight.
I know. I love this wine. Would you age it?
This is where I get confused.
I know. I mean, you could, but I don't think for a long time. Maybe like 3 years.
Yeah. So it's got acid, right?
I mean, it's got that.
Acidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a searing acidity. It's got a good backbone, and it got medium intensity. So plenty of things in there for them to hold on to the freshness while some of it is changing over into the tertiary. I mean, there's not enough tannin here to really talk about. There's even a little bit of phenolics that we talked about in there. So it's got a good backbone, good intensity, and the complexity is the only thing that we call that medium. And if you maybe want to age it, maybe some of that will change. So I do think this is an interesting one. Only thing is that I don't have a reference point. I've never had old aged Petit Arvine before, so I don't know how well these things age. But looking at this wine right now, like from a beginner's eyes, without knowing anything in the future, but if I have to guess, I do think there's quite a bit of ageability here. I do think this wine is drinking beautifully right now. It's fresh and young. But I do think there's some of that complexity could be interesting here, just because there's so much of it, the intensity of it, and then the acid of it. So I would say, to your point, yeah, maybe lay it down for the next 3 to 5 years, see how it changes. And then if you start to see some of that tertiary start to come in, and if you like that, then go ahead and lay it down longer. If not, then drink it. Is kind of what I would do. If I were buying this wine, maybe I'll pick up like 4 to 6 bottles, drink one now, and then lay one down and start testing it, starting at like year 3, and then every year after that is basically what I'll do. But again, I just don't have a reference point for aged Petit Arvine, so I just don't know. But I do think it has the ageability with the amount of acid that's in here and the amount of intensity that's in here. So buy it, drink it now, but maybe lay it down for the next 3 to 5 years and check on it every year starting year 3. I don't think it's going to fall apart anytime soon, just because the acid is so great. Cool. Any questions? Any disagreements? Any concerns?
I got more of a grapefruit taste in the palate.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I got a little bit of grapefruit. There's something in here that I think in my head, I said savory, but looking on it, there's something here that I'm getting more of that kind of like bitter fruit, like that grapefruit kind of you were talking about. Maybe that's kind of what I was thinking in my head, but there's something else in here besides all the fruits that we mentioned here. I do think there's initially when I was smelling it on the nose with Chris, I did get a little bit of grapefruit. I do get, there's some like an orange vibe here, like orange blossom, orange water, maybe like tangerine kind of something going on here that I'm getting. It maybe like Meyer lemon, but like orange and lemon cross between that. Something orange kind of vibe.
It's like a grilled lemon.
Say that again?
A grilled lemon.
Grilled lemon? Looking like a grilled, like a smoky kind of a thing, but yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, but some sort of like a cooked lemon, maybe a touch of preserve. I don't know. Maybe it's not preserved lemon, but yeah, something going on here that I'm having a hard time articulating. But yeah.
A little bit of orange liqueur too.
There's something, something orangey, right? Like I don't know. I don't know why I keep going back to that like tangerine orangey kind of an orange blossom.
A little bit of like that, like Christmassy, like honey candy that you get with like a little bit of like that orange chocolate.
Yeah, there's something, something like that here. Yeah. Oh, here. Charles says kumquat and fruit skin. Yeah, kumquat. I think that's actually a good call. Kumquat. Yeah, something like really tart but orangey. Yeah, kumquat is actually an excellent call. I do get some kumquat now that I see that.
I'm not a big gooseberry expert, but I feel like it's like like when you get a fruit and it has like the kind of like white residue on the skin, and it's like that sort of like you smell the skin, it smells different from the fruit. You know what I mean? I don't know what that is, but it smells like fruit skin. Like it doesn't smell like plum. It smells like the skin of a plum when you wash it before you take the first bite.
Yeah.
Like a golden plum.
It's mold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be mold, but it's like that. It's like that skin. I don't know. It's like there's like a phenolic of the skin that smells different from the fruit, but it's still fruity.
Agreed.
I mean, again, this all ties back into everything we're talking about, from all the way going back to Allison talking about. She sees a little bit of color in this thing, like very high in phenolics. This grape is known as a phenolics, and then even the picture that we saw, there's a little bit of that. Like here, I'll share it again just so that you all can see it. Like you see some of these like a gold flecks, just kind of like a pinkish flecks that are running through. So I mean, all of that, even if it's direct press, if it's so high, they could leach into the wine. So I think that's what we are picking up here, which, by the way, I will say is an incredibly sharp palate on all of you for being able to pick that up, to pick up basically essentially a touch of phenolics in the white wine on a direct press white wine. It's pretty amazing. So it's pretty impressive. So Yeah, I think that's what we are all kind of like dancing around right now. I think what we're all describing, what we're trying to figure out is the role of the skin phenolics in this white wine is what we are all kind of trying to describe. And so for some of us, it's coming up as orange liqueur. For Charles, it's like that, the plum skin and kumquat, and Allison saw some color, the textural, like, some of that tannin thing as well. So yeah, all of that.
Somebody's UC Davis dissertation, and for us, it's just Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We've come a long way.
Can I ask a question about direct press?
Yeah.
Does it? I assume the answer is yes, but the different ways that you could press, like, does it exert different force and weight? Like cannonball press or different presses. Is it like, oh, that's like a really aggressive pressing where you'd be more likely to get skin phenolics into the wine?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So pneumatic being, I mean, it also depends on how hard you press. You can program it to see how hard you want to press it, how much pressure you want to apply. So like a bladder press. So basically, imagine you put all the berries or grapes inside of a tank, and then there's a basically balloon inside, and then you blow air into it and presses against the sides and squeezes it out, presses it out. So that's a bladder pneumatic press. That all really, it can be as gentle, super gentle, but it can also be really, really hard on that thing. Basket press tend to be quite gentle but it's really easy to overdo it because you are not really measuring it all that well. So it all really depends on the winemaker's experience of knowing when to cut from head to tail. So that all depends. But yes, to long answer short is yes, Charles. Depending on the press, it matters. The mechanism in which how it's pressed also matters. Yes. Any other questions?
Do you know how they press these?
I would imagine it's a pneumatic press, but I don't know for sure.
You should ask them what
I can ask Christina. Yeah.
What pressure they put on the.
Yeah.
She'd be like, are you kidding me? It's the most ridiculous question.
She's gonna be like, was it that guy Charles on the White Club that asked that question?
I don't think so. I didn't really talk when she was on the call.
Yeah. Cool. Did you guys all like this one? Curiosity? So good, right? I fucking love this wine. It's so good.
Yeah, this really kind of grew on me. I opened it like 20 minutes into the call because we've been running around adulting, and now it's like really kind of opening up and really tastes really unified and savory and great. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, to me, this is what alpine wine, mountain wine, white wine is all about. Like, it's got this beautiful ripeness, right? Because as you're high up, UV ray is high. But then you got this searing acidity, because again, it's high, it's cool, crazy diurnal shift, right? And then you got this minerality, in this case, coming through as a salinity, but like just a mineral backbone that runs through without sacrificing the generosity of the fruit. So you get all of these things. And to me, that's what alpine wine is. And that's why they're my favorite wines to drink. I really like high, cool climate, high elevation wines for that reason. And I think this tastes, not only is it delicious, but like it tastes exactly like where it comes from. Like this can only be made where this comes from. You know what I mean? Like this couldn't be made in a Mediterranean somewhere. It's just not possible. So it is definitely a wine of place with a sense of place, and it's cool. And where else do you find Petit Arvine? I mean, yeah, we talked about Okanagan Valley in California, but really we're talking about right here, Valle, Switzerland. That's it. So very, very small part of the world that tastes like the place. It's if you want to get romantic about wine, it's that. It's like a snapshot of the place in a glass.
So for this to become a dessert wine, it would just ripen on the vine and get more sugar?
Yeah, so they will ripen it longer, so they would hang it much longer than usual, and the sugar develops much more. But the beautiful thing about this wine is that it still maintains that acid, even the sugar development is happening. it doesn't drop off. A lot of grapes is inversely proportional, so as the sugar spikes, the acid just drops off. But this one managed to maintain. It does drop off, but it doesn't maintain much slower than most of the varieties. So yeah, they just hang in much longer, and then they harvest, and then they make wine. So for example, in Northern Hemisphere, like late harvest, they would harvest that in like some of one as late as like November, which is pretty late for the grape harvest. The grape harvest would usually be done by like September, October at the latest. But the fact that they're going all the way into late October, November is pretty late. So, any other questions? All right, let's play everyone's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy paying for this on a retail shelf? Remember, only 141 cases made, and only 10 cases came into the States. Very small, Valle, just in general, not a.
No one's heard of it either, so that makes
What'd you say?
But no one's heard of it either, so that makes
no one has heard of it, right? You're right. It is the smallest out of the producer exports out of Valle, but yeah, we called it very good with some Asian potential, but also delicious now. How much would you be happy paying for this in a retail shop? All right, let's look at this. 25, 25, 32, 40. All right, 29, 31, 50, 28, 35. 29, 29, 27, 30. All right. It's kind of all in the 25 to 35, but yeah, this one will come in right at 32, 25 in the retail shop. So it is the most expensive out of the 4 bottles that we have this month, but I think this is the most well-made wine out of the 4 as well.
Does anybody else feel like the nose is really like interesting and complex, and then like unless you kind of savor the sip, it's not quite as like if you swirl it around, you get a ton of stuff, but if you just give it a sip, it's like it kind of is like underwhelming. You need to like sit with it for a second. Is that?
I wonder if like 50% of us have the same cold, and so we're not totally sure. That's how I feel. I'm like, I believe you, Charles, but I haven't had a complete sense of smell for like 2 months, so I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think of what Charles is talking about. I totally agree, because what I like about this wine is that if you're serving this to a non-wine people, like not wine geeks, but like if they had people for dinner and they're like, I just want white wine, and then you pour this for them, they'll probably be like, this is delicious, right? Like it says objectively just a delicious beverage to consume, right? But even for wine geeks, if you were to pour this for them, like there's enough here that you can keep going back. But like, what is that? What is happening here? Where is this from again? Like, I would keep asking those questions. I'm like, this tastes like it's from the mountains somewhere, but I don't know. Like with all that kumquat, all that phenolic textural thing, like where's this from? Like how could this be? I've never had anything like that. Like if I had to get this blind, honestly, I'll probably think this is from Firuli. Like I would probably go Firuli, but no.
It's almost Canary Islands like though, like just because of the salinity, which is weird.
But it is too lean and cut. Like it doesn't have as much. Yeah, as Canary Island has the mineral cut, but it's not this lean. Like there's more fat on it because it's warmer. It's just hotter. It's the island. It's much more south. Like this is like the nomadic, like a Germanic fucking people, and then like Canary Islands more of like a southern Mediterranean Spanish people. Like
you could bounce a quarter. You could bounce a quarter off this one's ass.
Yeah, exactly. It's tight. It's toit.
This has a lot of salinity for a mountain variety wine.
It does.
Yeah, exactly. It's that minerality. It's all that minerals in there. It's just expressing itself as a salt. Yeah, as opposed to the crushed rocks and stuff. Yeah, but I mean that's what I love about mountain wines. It's all that because it's so infertile. So you get this crazy minerality and salinity. Cool. What did you guys think of this month's box? I know, Allison, you just got yours last week, but yeah, like, have you guys all been? How often do you guys drink Valle first of all, let's put it that.
Less often than you might imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know because I only got my wine last Friday, and so I haven't had that much of it yet.
I'm sorry. It's my fault.
Boone forgot me in this month's shipment.
I forgot Allison.
So mine was a little bit late. So I'm trying to catch up.
What's the forgot me discount for next month?
There you go. There you go.
Oh, Charles, bring in the pain.
Good idea. I'm going to hire Charles as my personal lawyer. No, I'm not, Charles. I can't afford you.
I'll work on a contingency and I'll take 1/2 of the bottle you get for free. Yeah, this is nice. So the only other Valle d'Aosta wine I ever had was, I believe, is that like Hermes Pavesi, like that Morgex wine, which is good, and it's very similar sort of stylistically, but I think this is maybe better rounded. That wine, the acidity isn't as like integrated, and that's what I was like, when you swirl it around, what you get is like more mouth coating of the acidity, and I feel like somehow that's like bringing the flavor out. It's kind of this like, I mean, there are wines where you do that and it's like the acidity is too much. This, it's like the acidity is like perfect when you swirl it around. It's like it's a really well integrated wine. So
really well
compared to the only other bottle I think I've ever had from the region, this is a really nice glass of wine.
By the way, the producer that Charles is talking about, Hermes Pavesi, is one of the 4 people that I was telling you about that exports into US. And they are situated in Morgex, which is much further northwest, up against the mountain towards Mont Blanc. So it is some of the world's highest vineyard sites in the world. So the wines from there tend to be a lot more acid driven, way less fruit. So this all makes sense of kind of what you're talking about. Like that wine is way more austere, way leaner, probably a lot more acid than fruit. Less fruit, more acid.
It's the highest altitude vineyard in Europe, and I think their vines were never hit by phylloxera because it was too high up. They were like, phylloxera was like, we're not going up there. So, pretty cool vineyard, but this tastes better.
Yeah, it's a different kind of wine. Yeah, but this would be. I've had Hermes Pavesi, the exact wine that you're talking about. But yeah, to me, this is much more well-rounded. Like it's a lot more approachable. Yeah.
But the bottle is cooler of the other wine.
Yeah, for sure. But
it's like a little stubby bottle. You could imagine like Asterix and Obelix like drinking that wine. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. This region's cool. I'm all about this box because this is like a cool ass region that no one ever gets wine from. So I thought it was a great pick.
Cool. Glad you liked it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to pull this off because I had a very hard time finding wines either.
Pretty sure this region was part of Gaul, Charles, so I'm not sure how they would have felt about it. So anyway. Obelisk, sorry.
What?
Anyway, it's nothing. Never mind.
Okay.
We'll all go to the Brussels Comic Book Museum together at some point. We can all embrace.
That's a deep cut.
That nonsense.
Any other feedback about this month? The wines, general theme, the place.
Yeah, you said earlier that this same grape would be grown in Switzerland, and do they do it locally? They don't export either, right?
They do. I have seen Petit Arvine from Switzerland before, but just like here, it's not cheap. Just everything that's in Switzerland and Valle also is not cheap. But I have seen it before. I've just never had it myself. Never tried it. Yeah. I mean, it's super cool. It's like I've said from the very beginning, this wine club is just kind of a selfish way for me to drink what I want to drink and have you guys pay for it, essentially. uh, and this is one of those, like in 10 plus years of working in wine, I've never systematically tasted through Valle wines because I never had to. Like what restaurant have I worked in where we were like, let's build out our Valle section of the wine list. Like, I don't even know how many restaurants in DC have a significant Valle section in their wine list. So this was cool. It was fun, really fun for me to learn about this region and the wines. So yeah, thank you. I'm glad you all enjoyed it as well.
Yes, awesome. Thanks, Sue. I did look up Okanagan.
Uh-huh.
It's made at one vineyard, and they've been sold out for 2 years straight. So I will try and find someone who's got it. But
Dave, I will always think of you when I hear about the Okanagan Valley.
It's gorgeous. Everyone needs to go.
Oh, I really want to get up there.
It is, it's in the summertime is like, yeah, amazing. Go.
Yeah.
So I told Ung about this in case anybody else in the DC area is interested. There's a restaurant in Baltimore that has a pretty excellent natural wine list. I just looked it up. They have 4 bottles of Valle d'Aosta white and 3 red.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I must have been like, I don't know, taking mushrooms or something. I think they have 50% off bottles of wine on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, which sounds insane. So I was like, I should just Uber there with my wife, get a babysitter, watch a Netflix episode with like headphones on the way there, get to dinner, eat dinner, and like Uber home, like 2 episodes of Stranger Things and dinner, and like get 50% off on a Tuesday.
Which one is this, Charles?
Restaurant's called Cinguale. It's like Little Italy in Baltimore.
Awesome.
They have
everything on the menu is on the wine list is 50% off?
It is everything except large format, and they told me 50. I swear 50. Maybe they said 15. I don't know. I'm like, this sounds crazy, but I think I even confirmed. I was like, are you serious? Like that seems absurd.
I was thinking you meant just like the wine was 50% off, which I've seen like on.
No, it's
bus worthy
everything on the
for
wine.
the
Everything
wine
on the wine list. It's not the food. The food is not. The food is no discount.
Yeah.
The wine.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is the most expensive part.
It's not an expensive restaurant. It's lovely.
Cinguale?
Cinguale. It's like wild. It's wild boar in Italian. CINGHIA.
Lovely. It's a really, really nice place. But I didn't know that their wine list was so great because I went there for lunch. So.
All right.
Yeah, their wine list is.
Did you say it's on Tuesdays?
That's what they said. I'm going to call them. This is like weighing on me now. I'm like, this
it's not unusual, right? Like they're trying to drive business on a weeknight. I get it. I would say, listen, we're struggling to get the wine club to any place that we've actually tasted the wines from. I think like a minibus to Baltimore would be pretty easy from DC, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, that's our first wine club field trip. Like we shouldn't go we shouldn't go straight to Beaujolais. We should try.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if we just go to Baltimore?
Instead of Beaujolais, we're choosing Baltimore.
Little Italy.
I think we could do that. I believe in us.
They're gonna be like, who are these fucking 10 people that show up on Tuesday and drink half?
It's going to be 17 or 18, right? That would be awesome. Let's do that.
Like, you guys, we lost like $2,000 on this table. What we would have made on wine.
This is the last time they ever do 50% off on Tuesday.
Yeah, and we'd be like, to be honest, our backup plan was BYOB at Panda Gourmet, so you probably didn't lose anything.
Yeah, I mean, your wine prom is around the corner. We could just get like a booze bus to Baltimore.
Yes. Right? Pre-game.
There's also wine prom maybe a month early this month, so I'm going to send out an email to everybody.
When?
You don't even need a booze bus. You can drink on the Mark train. Like just take the Mark and pound bottles away.
Love it.
Hell yeah! Take over the bar cart.
It's a bit of it's not that bad a trip from the Mark station to the Lily. But so say this again. When is wine prom?
I, I mean, it's not set in stone yet. I need to talk to Ian. So Ian, that DevC space,
Yeah.
his lease ends at the end of March. He's not renewing his lease.
Oh dear. Okay.
So I was like, well, maybe we move it a month earlier so I can use that space one last time.
Okay. March.
So last Saturday of March, essentially.
Okay, that's doable. But no, is it? Yeah. Okay.
Oh shit!
I have
Like
to.
the
I have to check
29th of March?
So that would be. It's just an idea that's floating. It's not for sure, but that would be the 28th of March.
Yeah. Okay.
So one of their bottles is Grosjean Tourette.
Yeah.
They have that was our first one, right?
Yeah, that was our first bottle.
Awesome.
Yeah, they've got that on the menu for $65.
Yep. Perfect.
Excellent. 32.50, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Minus the importer's discount that we can.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
If
you need
I'm
other
actually shocked.
venues, just let me know. I found another one that is quite desperate for attention, so we might be able to get a really good deal there. So
All right.
it's just around the corner from
Around the corner from where?
right around the corner from where you were considering.
From Blagden Alley, from DevC. Okay. Yeah, I mean,
a big space, but they do a lot of that sort of stuff. And I think given how much I've contributed to their current revenue, I think I can probably score something. So let me know.
I mean, it's hard to beat $3.99, but you know.
Well, you want free. I get that. Yes.
Free is. I was helping a friend try to find a wedding venue for a very small wedding, like less than 50 people, somewhere in the DMV. And like not even like serving dinner or like anything like that. And you just can't find a place for like not $10,000.
Yeah.
And it was sobering. It was sobering to look for venues with her because I was like, oh no, it's like even if you're just doing like drinks and hors d'oeuvres, it like doesn't.
Well, especially for weddings though. They'll overcharge the shit.
Yeah.
If you say wedding, it's going to be 10 to 15K flag drop. That's why we got married in Nashville, North Carolina, because I looked around and I was like, man, this art gallery near my office is just a concrete floor place. And they're like, $10,000. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
My sister, when for her wedding, she told everybody that it was a family reunion, which it is. And then as it got closer to the wedding day, they were like, is this a wedding? She's like, yeah. And then immediately on the spot, price jumped, doubled.
Yeah. I've heard of that. I've heard
Like,
I've heard that like hair and makeup too.
Yeah, they're like,
bridal.
I mean, but she was like, what changed? Nothing has changed except this is a wedding. They're like, yeah, but it's such standard wedding pricing. So literally exact same thing. Like they were drawing up contract, exactly what they're going to do. Just pricing just literally double because it's a wedding, because they know they can. So one of the photographer was like, they were going to call like triple the amount of what they originally contracted. So she canceled the contract with a photographer and actually found a Canadian photographer, flew her down, put up her in a hotel, and paid for her meals for 3 days she was there.
And it's still cheap. Yeah, I get that.
It was still cheaper than hiring a photographer from the US.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
From the Okanagan Valley.
Yeah, from Okanagan Valley. Yeah.
It's hard to fly from there, but yeah.
Where all the best things come from there.
And she was so hot. I was like, God damn, where did you find this Canadian photographer?
Yeah. We've done okay.
Yeah.
I like how Dave's taking credit for the Canadian photographer. He's like, yeah, we
Absolutely.
do all right up in Canada. I'll take credit for that one. We build them hot.
It's a good mix of people, eh?
Dave, in exciting Canadian news,
Yes.
Canada changed its laws a month ago, so now my kids can become Canadian.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Lost Canadians Act.
Oh.
I'm extremely excited.
Turns out, I think
Exactly what it's called.
Yeah, well, it has like a name with a number, but yeah, I mean, I think my mother-in-law